Oh, you got exhausted halfway up, huh? You can do it, buddy. You can do it, Titus. I believe in you. You can do it. Come on. Put the energy. Oh, so tough. Hey everybody, Chris Paget, Happy Plays Homestead. Today I want to talk to you about new beginnings. So last year we did a lot of work trying to get the section ready for the big garden. And we cleared land and we evened things out, and then we dug holes, and certainly there were some obstacles and struggles along the way, but we knew that this was a big deal, especially with all that had happened in the 2020 year. So we began the epic, radical journey of trying to create this Garden of Eden type of place for us. Not just a place that would provide for us great vegetables, foods, but also a place that would bring us great joy and a lot of beauty. And so we knew that this wasn't just a quick, few week project. It was going to take some time. And so we did that. We put all of our efforts into working together as a family, building a fence that would keep some of the, deer maybe away. And in addition, we wanted to make sure that our goats, when they escaped, didn't come and eat all the foods. We also wanted raised beds. That was a big deal for Linda. So she had a very specific idea on what she wanted. And we've done numerous trips to an Amish person down the road who does lumber. And we also are planning to do our own lumber in the future for some continued projects.
We need a rope or string that's long enough. I don't want a tape measure. I want...
We still have a lot coming and a lot more that's going to happen. Linda's got some plans for certainly a greenhouse, and we have a garden shed. So this is just a little update on what's going on. I can't seem to get this to raise up higher. It's up as high as it can go, but it's still rich in the ground. What project are you working on now, Linda?
Lots of things with the garden.
Right now we have to level back up our fence because
We did cement it in, and the winter beat it up.
Yeah, so now we're gonna put some cement there, make sure it's level.
And we're also changing in the strawberries, since we have a million chickens.
Yeah.
So the strawberries are planted and they're getting caged. sweaty mess because it's humid. I want to show my 3 different ways I'm trellising my tomatoes this year to see which one I like the best. And so the first is just staking them with a bamboo stake, and they're tied. And as they grow, they will get tied. Okay, and then we have the traditional.
But what did you do to the bottom of the tomato plants?
Oh, that you prune them. So you take down any. I read recently you take any leaves that are lower than the flowers. So here's flowers, anything lower. But I kept this one. This one probably could have gone, but so you can see I took down a bunch of leaves down here because you don't want the plant to put its energy into growing leaves. You want it to put its energy into making fruit, or tomatoes in this case. So so you get rid of the stuff where they're going to waste their energy.
So you tied up all these and
trim
them. The bottom, yep. Prune the bottom.
Okay, the other type of trellising is cages, tomato cages. These are probably the most common what people use. I have used them in the past and I haven't been huge fans of them. So, but we're going to see. We'll see how they do. As they grow, the leaves, the branches will hang over these little things here and keep them upright.
Did you trim the bottom of these as well,
yes.
It looks like?
Yep, these are all
pruned
trimmed.
them?
Yep. Look how nice. I mean, I'm so excited about the quality of the stalk on this plant here. These are all called sweetie tomatoes, so they're kind of middle-sized tomatoes. And I grew all of these we just showed you, I've grown from seed, so that's exciting. I've done these on my own. And then,
well, what is this thing right here?
That's a zucchini. It's actually a yellow squash. So like a yellow zucchini. This one has not been doing well. If you can see my other ones. Here's this one.
This is the same plant?
Same plant. Look at that one over there. Same plant. All of those on the ends are same plants. These are all yellow squash.
Why did this one not get the memo?
One, I have no idea. My thought was that because I'm trying this new thing called, well, it's new to me, called Back to Eden gardening. And so it's mulch, heavy mulch. But I knew that my first year was going to suffer because mulch, in order for wood chips to decompose, it requires nitrogen. And so it's robbing nitrogen from the soil, which the plants need nitrogen to grow. So I was thinking that I figured that this and my peas, which got a really bad start also, my peas, that they were very yellow, and some of them didn't even survive. But I think it was because it was competing with the mulch for the nitrogen. So I've given them a couple helpings of tea. It's called comfrey tea. It's made out of the herb comfrey, and you just soak it in water for 3 months. It gets really nasty smelling. And you dilute it in water when you water them, and that's pure nitrogen. And since I've done that, that one has come back. That zucchini plant has come back. It's slow growing, but it's come back, and my peas are starting to take off. So
this is the one you gave me a sample of yesterday, huh?
Yeah, this is snappy
That's pretty good,
peas.
actually.
I think this one, though, Chris, this is what you had. This is a snow pea.
I like those.
These are snappy peas. So these have the peas on the inside the pod.
Oh.
That you eat.
There's peas on the inside of that.
Right, but this is, I think this is a snow pea, though. So, and you can see that some of my snow peas are really struggling. But again, I think, because the mulch is really thick in this bed, I think and these were the first things I put in the bed. I maybe didn't put them low enough, and so they were competing to get roots in the mulch, and they were struggling. So a little bit of comfrey tea helped them. Okay, so here's my third method of trellising tomatoes this year, and it's called the Florida weave, which I thought was interesting. I'm a Floridian practically, so I thought it was a fun name. But this, you use these stakes and then you weave the string in between them. And then as the plant grows, you add another layer of string, kind of in the same way that we're supposed to be doing that to our grapevines. But so we'll see how this goes. This may work. Maybe it needs more stakes. I don't know. We'll see how it works. In the end, I want to see what works good for me and what doesn't work good for me.
Where'd you find it at?
The weave?
Yeah.
I probably searched something on Pinterest about trellising. I've been doing a lot of reading on trellising because we have a lot of things that need trellised. And I don't know if this year it's going to happen. So, but that's okay. So
there are some plants that you don't trellis at all, obviously.
Peppers, I don't know. You could probably cage peppers if they get too big. I don't know. This is as far as long as I've made a pepper live. I have planted peppers for the last 3 or 4 years and have never had them survive. Last year I had them produce one pepper that never ripened. So this is the best my peppers have ever looked. But these are struggling.
What is this?
These are all peppers.
Oh.
This is your guess as good as mine peppers. Because there are sweet like bell peppers in here, and there are also cayenne peppers in here. I just don't know which plant is which. Once they start to produce peppers, we'll know because they're shaped very differently.
And there's the overachiever.
That's the zucchini.
Yeah, the zucchini.
They're huge. That's why I put them on the ends of the beds, because they just need so much space that I figure they can grow over the edges.
And these are all tomatoes that you have in that metal cage.
Right, and these were given to my friend Melanie. She gave those to me. So I think they're a little behind in, like mine might have been, they were definitely put out earlier than these. So they're just a little behind, but they're doing well. I haven't trimmed all of these guys yet. So look at here, you can see. This one hasn't been trimmed. So you see all the lower growth?
Oh.
And you want to take all that off and get it to put the energy in height and fruit.
Get her. Get her. What are you doing? You're literally doing nothing. And you're watching the world go by while a chicken, the chicken is going to go into the house. And then there's the cat doing nothing. Literally, the door's open. Sure, why not? Okay. Why am I not surprised? Of course. Help them out. I'm trying to do art right now. Where is she? What's she doing in here? Where is she? Want to let her out outside there? Oh, now Aggie gets involved. Okay, she gone. You literally did nothing. Nothing. So these are different lettuces.
Mm-hmm. Romaine. This is green leaf, emerald oak, kale. I know it's a different looking kale. It's not the curly kale. And I had arugula at the end. The arugula was the fastest, the most, what do you call that? Like the
aggressive kind of growing?
Well, they were show-offs, basically. They were the first to pop up and to develop, but they also were the first to go to seed, which is flowers. Once they do that, I found that they get very bitter. So remember, Chris, you had that, we had the salad the other day, and you were like, oh, what's hot in here? It was the arugula. So I took them all out. But what's cool on the lettuce is that I've experimented with this also. These lettuces I bought from somebody and as plugs, and I put them in the ground. I transplanted them. I had heard that lettuce is hard to transplant. They don't survive. So I wanted to experiment with that. And it's actually done quite well. The romaine and the kale and all that, I started from seed. And so it's done really well. The romaine is very much slow growing compared to the others. But here, I trimmed off part of it and took it inside to eat it, and it's regrowing.
So you don't take the whole thing out?
Right. You just cut. As long as you cut it. This one I must have cut too low, so it's struggling to regrow. This one is regrowing. See, it's grass. But this one is regrowing because I cut it right, and same with this one and that one. So that's cool. That's how you continue to have lettuce, is you just cut it and it continues to grow. That's so cool.
Yeah. Tastes good too.
Watermelon, and these are butternut squash. So look how beautiful these butternut squash are. They went in the ground probably about a week or so before the ones on the short bed, and you'll see the difference on them.
What's the short bed?
Those. That's butternut squash. Same plant. I grew from seed, but it's struggling.
So what's the time difference between those?
I would say maybe a week between them going in the ground. They were all started exactly the same time. I started them all with seed. But going in the ground, these went in the ground a week before those. So those I've been giving some comfrey tea to, and I feel it's starting to get some green back on them, and hopefully they'll continue to grow.
All right.
And so now, this is another moment of pride for me. This is cabbage. Now I bought these also as plugs. I wanted to experiment because I've had bad luck with cabbage. Never have had cabbage grow. I'm probably disgusting and repulsive for people to look at because I'm so sweaty. But
this is real life.
I've never had cabbage survive ever. It gets eaten. And so last year I had the revelation, oh, I should net it. That's what other people do. It looks like there's bugs under the net though. Looks like they're starting to get eaten. So obviously I don't have it netted properly because they are getting a little eaten, but not too bad. But they're growing. They're doing really, really well, actually. I'm happy with this.
How do you know when you would
I guess
harvest them?
when it gets to the ball size of a cabbage.
Yeah.
So again, I've never done this. So there's a ball in there. So it probably needs to get a little bigger and then it could be harvested. I'm really excited. I love
So the
cabbage.
netting is only for bugs?
Bugs, to keep the bugs out. And I think I just don't have it draped well. I don't have it completely netted well enough. I'll get better at it. And but water gets through it.
Where'd you get the netting?
Amazon. And this little trick here is a Monty Don trick.
Who's Monty Don and what's
He's from
this?
Gardener's World, BBC. I love watching his show. But he has these taller in his garden, and he nets everything. And he uses these little
Styrofoam cups?
they're not styrofoam. They look styrofoam because they're white, but they're actually the clay.
Oh.
I just bought white because they match my garden better.
No.
But it's clay.
And that's so it doesn't poke through the netting?
Yes, it's so that the sticks don't poke through the netting. Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's Monty Don.
You seem to have an odd affection for Monty Don. And then, what do we got? Last but not
My
least?
job I came out here actually today was to deal with this. This is what I came out here to do. But I got sidetracked doing all my tomatoes.
I suppose every gardener has that experience.
Yeah. So I have sage and thyme. These two I actually kept alive inside the house throughout the winter. So they And then I started new ones from seed. And so this is my seed, but this is the old one. So I need to harvest. This is a little too crazy. I'm going to harvest some sage, some thyme. The dill I bought at the store. That's why it's kind of big. That needs to be harvested. My cilantro needs to get harvested.
I'm smelling that cilantro.
It's amazing. Well, no, you're probably smelling that basil. That's all basil. We have 3 different kinds of basil. You have sweet basil, which is the regular basil that you normally eat. Everyone loves with tomato and mozzarella. This is cinnamon basil. So it has some pinkish look to it.
Yeah.
And it has a cinnamon scent to it, which is very cool. And then this is smaller. See, it's starting to go to seed flowers. I want that to not happen. This is cinnamon basil. Or no, I'm sorry, lemon basil. Lemon basil here. So, I don't know. I'm gonna figure out how to preserve that, and I can share that another day. But I've never used lemon or cinnamon basil, so I need to figure out how to use it. I think I'm gonna make a pesto, or just preserve it in olive oil, so I can use it in cooking. I was thinking, actually, the cinnamon basil would be really good preserved and put into butter, like an herbed butter, to have a butter that has cinnamon basil to it and maybe a little extra cinnamon in it. Would that be good?
I don't know.
I think that would be good. This is big, so I'm cutting a lot of the sage. I'm just going to dry the sage because I'll use it for herbal remedies and stuff. Remember how hard it was to find sage at the store last winter? Didn't I send you to find me sage? I needed dried sage.
It was
hard to find.
It was a...
Because they usually make it into a powder, like a rub. But I want it dried like this.
Yeah, that was a constant failure. Every single place did not have the right kind of sage.
Right. So I figure, well, I'll just use mine. Cilantro, they say, is tricky. I gotta figure out. That, you can smell that. I had to come on that side. I can't.
Happy birthday.
Why now, of all places, while I'm on the floor?
Well, happy birthday. What are you doing? Watching a baby? Because one time you were a baby too.
I don't believe you.
Look at her. Hello. Noru. Yeah. You enjoying your show? Your cartoon?
I'm enjoying my cartoon.
About dinosaurs?
I like dinosaurs.
So what are you doing?
I'm making, this is Kolbe's birthday. I asked him what he wanted for his birthday, and he said homemade ramen noodle soup. The kid loves ramen noodles. So I thought, oh, I never made that. So we had these ducks, so I thought I'll make duck with it. So we have duck, roasted duck, and I'll make homemade ramen noodle. And then we have some egg rolls and some, hard-boiled eggs that will go in the ramen noodle. So, yeah.
Looks good. So these are ducks that were...
There's ours, and they're not, you can see they're not perfectly plucked. We'll get better at that, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the taste.
So family has arrived for the birthday party, and I'm gonna go check on Noah because I know he's been working on the the garage. Wow, huh? There's the table.
Hello, Gilbert.
Noah's cleaning up. Gilbert, What's the meaning behind the madness? What's your strategy?
Just so everything's organized. I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of taking everything off.
Starting over. That's probably a good idea.
So
We got a lot of junk.
I found the WD-40.
Well.
It's not working. So.
Well.
You get a picture of me and my baby girls? Nora!
Looking really good, Noah. Even Greg likes it. He looks happy. Oh, old Greg.